Welcome back to another edition of The Big Three. I'm Heather Harrington, along with the one and only Will West. Will, biggest story to send shockwaves through college basketball was dropped yesterday. How do you see this shaking out for the 5 Under Armour schools that are involved, the Adidas officials, and, some of these major program head coaches like a Rick Pitino and Bruce Pearl?
I think Rick Pitino is gone. I think the Tom Jurek is gone. I think the Bruce Pearl is gone. I think that you will see a change in the landscape of recruiting altogether, not just in basketball, but also in football as well. Because are you willing to put yourself in an actionable position with the NCAA to pay a recruit to come on campus for if you're a football coach or a basketball coach? Maybe so. Are you willing to risk jail time? That's going to be the big question.
My answer to that, heck no. But Brian Rice brought up a great point. He thinks that Under Armour will also be implicated in this at a later date because of how many schools were affiliated with that apparel brand.
I could see that. I could absolutely see that. We had, 4 Nike schools as well on top of that, which is weird. One Adidas school, but we had the Adidas rep, not a Nike or an Under Armour rep that was indicted here.
How weird is it that everybody knows this goes on, or we always assume there's a bagman involved, and now it's finally coming to light? Are people really surprised?
I don't think so, but I do think that it's about time, frankly, the federal government did something. This is a black market. This is human trafficking. And so I'm glad that, look, as at the top of human trafficking, we think of like that, it's not. But technically it is.
Yeah.
And there are millions of dollars changing hands every recruiting cycle for both basketball and football that are going untaxed. And if you're the federal government, you can't allow a black market to exist in the United States of America in 2017.
Yeah, well, except that drug one.
Well,
I think they're fine with that one. No, I'm just teasing. But now, moving on to topic number 2, we've got a big game coming up. Finally, a fun home game for Tennessee football fans as the number 7 Georgia Bulldogs come to town this Saturday. Will West, is this a must-win for Butch Jones?
Butch Jones is in Mark Richt territory. Every game's must-win forever for him and Kevin Sumlin. No, look, I don't think it is, because I don't think he gets fired if he loses this game. That South Carolina game, though, becomes must-win, because if you lose Georgia and South Carolina back-to-back after you have a bye week in between, there's no way I think anybody can survive that. So I think Butch can survive a loss to Georgia. It'll just get ugly around here between then and his next win.
That's what I think, too. I'm not calling Georgia a must-win at this point. And based on what I've seen historically from the Bulldogs coming to Neyland Stadium or even down between the hedges in Athens, for some reason, they can't ever just solid slam dunk Tennessee. It never happens. It's been a long time since Georgia's had a double-digit win against the Vols.
Yeah.
And so I always think that this game, for whatever reason, is always on the table. Much like I always think the Florida game is totally off the table at the beginning of the season.
No matter how bad they are, how much Jim McElwain screws it up.
All right, so we're into week 4, past week 4 of the college football series. Where do you see the top 5 power rankings right now in the SEC? I thought it was funny, Vanderbilt, number 4 last week before the Alabama beatdown.
Bama was next.
Yeah. So where do you see the top 5 right now?
I think the top 3 are pretty set in stone. I think Alabama's 1, Georgia's 2, Auburn is 3. They've figured out some things offensively. That or they played an FCS opponent in Missouri, which is kind of the same thing. Then you start having questions. So for me right now, I think that Mississippi State's going to be 5 for me right now. And I think 4, I will roll the dice and say it's Florida, even though they didn't deserve to win either of the games that they've won in the SEC so far.
Sometimes, just ask Les Miles, it pays to be lucky and not necessarily good.
That is accurate.
All right, I'm going, I liked your top 3. I mean, it's obviously Alabama at the top. I think Georgia now is number 2. Auburn moves up to number 3. I think Mississippi State is right there at 4. If I had to go 5, maybe flip a coin between Florida and Texas A&M.
I can see that.
Is that fair?
Makes sense, yeah.
All right, that's going to wrap it up for us on the Big 3. We appreciate all the clicks this week, and we'll be back after that big Georgia game.